coming to you again, and I have another new message for you. But today I'd like to talk about a story, and it's called The King and the Beggar. It's a very good story to live by and learn from. Okay, so I'm going to read the story to you and then talk a little bit at the end. Alrighty. The King and the Beggar. Once upon a time, a country was ruled by a king who had no son to succeed him to the throne. Since the king was getting old, he wanted to select a suitable successor to rule the country. The king sent out notices throughout his country. The notices invited every qualified young man in the country for an interview with the king. The outcome of the interview would decide a possible successor to the throne. The only qualification for the candidate was that they should have immense love for their fellow human beings. Every young man across the country was very excited at the possibility of being the ruler of this country. A poor young man from a remote village also read the notice and started to prepare for an interview with the king. But this man was very, very kind, a hard-working man, but he was very poor due to various circumstances in his life. The man had no good clothes to be presentable in the sight of the king. So the young man worked really hard and saved some money to buy himself proper clothing and supplies to support him for the long journey to the palace. After he got his supplies and a proper attire for the interview, the young man set out on his quest. He traveled many days and had almost completed the journey when he came upon a poor beggar by the side of the road. The poor beggar sat trembling in the cold, covered only in tattered rags. The beggar extended his arms and pleaded for help to this young man. His weak voice croaked, "I'm hungry and cold. Please help me, sir." The young man was so moved by the pathetic condition of the beggar that he immediately stripped his new attire of clothing off and offered it to the beggar to be worn. He also provided the beggar with his very limited food supply that he had carried for this journey to the palace. The beggar thanked the man 1,000 times. But since the man had given up his good clothes to the beggar, he was a bit hesitant now to go to the interview in front of the king in his ragged clothes. However, he gathered enough courage to enter the palace in his old dirty clothes. Upon his arrival at the palace, a king's attendant showed him the way to the great hall. After a short rest to clean off the journey's grime, the man was admitted to the throne room for the interview. The young man bowed low as the king entered the room. When the young man raised his eyes, he gasped at astonishment as he noticed that the king looked very similar to the beggar he had met on the way. The king saw the shock in the man's eye and said, "Yes, I was the beggar you met on your way here." The young man asked the king, "But why did you dress like a beggar? You are a king. Why did you do this to me?" And the king replied, "Because I had to be sure that you had a good heart and you genuinely loved your fellow human beings," said the king. "I knew that if I came to you as a king, you would have done anything to impress me. But that way I would never know what truly was in your heart. The generosity and love to the one in need without expecting anything in return is the sign of a great heart. Looking at your love and generosity towards the beggar man proved that you sincerely love your fellow human beings. You gave to me freely everything that you had. This country needs a leader who would work for the welfare of all of the nation, not just ones that could offer and cater to the throne. You have proven that you are the right person to be my successor, promised the king. You shall be king after me. So I really like that story. With that, it's saying a heart filled with compassion and love to our fellow human beings is the greatest gift that we can give to the world. Okay? All these words up here are positive words. If you could look into any of these words and say, yeah, that's me. I feel like that. That's who I am. If you can do that, stay away from the negative. There's a lot of negative words in here too, but you don't need to focus on those. Focus on what you can do for another person. How can you help? How can you make a difference in somebody's life? Okay? This is a wonderful story. It's a wonderful example. The poor man had nothing to give but the clothes that he worked so hard to attain. And the food, the little bit of food that he had, he gave it all to the beggar because he felt like the beggar needed it more than him. So I think it's a wonderful story. It tells us how we can be in this life, how we can make a difference in somebody's life. Be that person to make a difference in somebody's life, okay? You can do it. We all can do it. This place would be a better place if the more of us would think beyond our own needs into somebody else's needs, okay? I love you, children. I believe in you completely. I know that you can make this world a better place. Your future is in your hands. Do with it what you want. But I'm hoping with my messages that you will find this better way of living. Live beyond your own means and give to someone else. Okay? And that's my message today. Simple and sweet. And I will see you again next time. Please remember to be kind. Be your best you and be kind to others. And I hope that you'll like and subscribe so that I can keep bringing more videos to you. Anyway, you have a wonderful day. Keep this story in your heart and look to help someone else, okay, that might have lesser than you, without any expectation of a reward coming back to you, okay? Just think beyond yourself for someone else. All right, that's it for today. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.